Hi there. My name is Russ Horn, and I would like to discuss a chart pattern called a double top or a double bottom. Now, these are areas where the market has formed support and resistance and can fail to get through that level of support and resistance and instead uses it as a springboard to change direction. Now, I've got the chart zoomed out a little bit because we see these areas all over the place. They're not hard to find. So I'm going to mark off a few of these areas and we'll zoom in a little bit and take a better look. So I'm going to draw this area of support and or resistance. And I'm going to start down here at the bottom. I've got an area here where the price has made a low, attempted to get to that low, and it did, but couldn't get beyond it. And from there, the market changed direction. And again, there's another example of that here. Market came down, made a low, popped off of it, came back to make the same low, could not get below it, and then continued to move up. Now we see that after this market moved up, we have another area. Now, I keep using that word area because support and resistance is really an area. It's not an exact price, but it's a region. It's a very close proximity. Now, the market comes up, makes a high, comes down, comes back up, attempts to make that high, and it gets very close to it, but is affected in that zone. And then from there, drops down. Now, this is one of the biggest mistakes that a trader makes is they're looking for double tops and double bottoms to be exact prices. And often they're not going to be exact, but they're going to be similar. Here, we're fortunate enough to have an exact double bottom and a almost exact double bottom here. But this is more likely what we're going to see. A double top can be very, very close, but it doesn't have to be exact. And again, I'm looking at a double top here. Price makes a high, comes down, makes another swing high, but cannot break beyond this and keep going. So it is affected at that area. And again, down here, we've got market making a low, comes back up, makes another low that is very similar in price, but is affected and then moves up. So we're going to find these areas all over the place. We could even see a double top happening in this area as well. So we've got the price making a high, dropping down, making a second high at almost exactly the same price, and then price moves down. So let's zoom in a little bit. Let's get a closer look at this. So what we're seeing is the market making a low. And this is something that we want to pay attention to. And as the market makes these swing highs and lows, we can be marking them off and just observing the market as they happen. Now, a lot of the times the market won't get near it or it'll get, quite beyond it. And at that point, it's no longer an area that we need to pay attention to as far as a double top or a double bottom goes. But there's going to be instances where the market does respect these levels. And this is a really nice example of that. Price comes down, makes a low, is affected by that area. So price pops back up and that will substantiate, that confirms that we do have an area of support here. Price comes back down and it uses that area of support as indeed support. Price does bounce off of this area and then takes off. So this becomes a tradable move to the upside. And again, price comes down, uses this area as support, pops back up, comes back down, and tests that area one more time. And again, this is almost an exact price. And then from there, the market takes off. Here we have an example where it's very, very close, but it doesn't quite get to that level. But I would still consider this to be a double top. Support and resistance are areas and not exact prices. And if we get an exact price when a double top or a double bottom forms, that's just bonus. But we want to be on the lookout for these areas where price is indeed affected. So we do have a price making this swing high, comes back down, and it really does attempt to get to that swing high. It gets very close, but doesn't quite get there, but it gets close enough that we are seeing that that area is affecting the price. So we do get what I would consider to be a double top, even though this second swing is a little bit lower than the first. I want to give it kind of a window. And I can do that by drawing a window this way. Now I'm going to color this a little bit different. I'm going to go kind of gray so we can see it better. So if I'm drawing a halo or a window around these areas, then I have a better idea that the market can be affected around this halo. Now, it could get affected at the bottom, could get affected at the top, but as long as it's nearby this previous level, then I would consider that a double top or a double bottom. And again, this is a mistake that a lot of traders make, is they want a double top or a double bottom to be an exact price. The market is huge and there's a lot of money in the market, and often it is very, very difficult for the price to be affected at an exact number. So I do want to allow for this cushion. All right. Again, price makes a high, is affected at this level, and then it makes another high. I can probably straighten that out just a bit. There we go. So we have almost an exact price. Now the price gets maybe a pip or two above it, but we can see clearly that it's being affected at that price, at that window. And this bounce off of that price will generally send the market moving in the opposite direction. And we have, again, that in here, high followed by the same high. And down here, we've got a low followed by a very, very similarly priced low. If I change this so that it's flat, there we go. We can see that the price makes the low and is indeed affected by that area. Price does get below it just a little bit, but I can see clearly that this zone is really affecting the market. And again, if I draw a window, a cushion, doesn't need to be anything special. I'm not looking for an exact number of pips. I'm just looking for a kind of a halo, kind of a cushion around that area. And I could draw that around all of these. And what this cushion does for me is simply gives me that window, that halo effect, that the price can be affected. It can get affected towards the bottom, right in the middle at the exact price that it previously made, or it could get a little bit above it. So I have these windows, these zones where price is going to be affected. And when it does get affected there, price really can move nicely in the opposite direction. So by zooming out, we can see that price will be affected over and over at these different levels. Price is affected here. We have a high followed by a second high, and then price drops off. And in between, we even have a low. We have a double bottom in here. So we've got a low followed by a double bottom, and then price moves back up to this region here where it is affected. And then I can scoot this over, and we can see that price makes a low, this initial low, and then after it's affected at this double top, it's affected again at this double bottom, and then price takes off. So these double tops and double bottoms, they're areas of support and resistance, and they are really key areas that the price is going to be affected, and they are important to really pay attention to. Double tops and double bottoms, they do affect the market, and they are great places to take trades in the opposite direction.